if you model Bitcoin, makes a portfolio more efficient, the efficient frontier. It goes down while other things are going up. It goes up while other things are going down. Your risk-adjusted return with Bitcoin in the portfolio goes up. Actually, the risk doesn't change. The return goes up.
Today I'm being joined by John Heneghan. He is the owner and president, I guess, of Servant Financial. John is a longtime friend of mine. He and I do some work on Promised Land Opportunity Zone Fund, which is a qualified opportunity zone fund, and he is the manager of both Fund 1 and hopefully Fund 2 here soon.
That's right. We got 10 days.
We got 10 days
capital.
we're live at the Land Investment Expo. We had John on the podcast last year to talk about opportunity zones. And this time around, I want to talk more about his wealth management firm a little bit and kind of his investment thesis around cryptocurrencies in particular. But before we get started with all of that, John, give us a little bit about your background.
Okay, I am an accountant by background, went to the University of Illinois, got my CPA back in '84, spent 10 years in accounting, and then another 5 years in controller CFO things, and wanted to do something more entrepreneurial. I started Servant Financial and spent some time working with a family office that sort of gave me a nice income base to grow my business. And now I'm doing sort of private funds, primarily farmland, and then liquid portfolios for individuals and families, and keeping it simple using mutual funds and exchange traded funds, and just getting global diversification across all asset classes that are available in mutual fund or ETF form.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Why, and you maybe have told me this, why the name Servant Financial?
Why Servant Financial?
Yeah.
I didn't mention that I was suffocated in my CFO role. I was working for a public company. I was public company CFO for a bureaucratic organization. I wasn't enjoying my business life, and then my personal life was suffering. I had the opportunity to get out of that and start Servant Financial. I was trying to find my purpose and what would be meaningful and purposeful for me to endeavor, and take my skills, which accounting, finance, and helping people manage their finances. So I started reading the scriptures on a daily basis, which I still do today. And Matthew 25 is a parable about the good and faithful servant, the one who, when left money to invest for the master, doubles the money. And there's one lazy, wicked servant who buries it in the ground. And at that time, I had the impression that I was the wicked lazy because I wasn't investing in my family and friendships and other stuff. I was tied to my desk, eating at my desk, unhealthy food, and probably drinking too much at that time.
Well, it's beautiful. I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about it before. So
that's right. So yeah,
it's
I mean,
cool.
A lot of my stuff is sort of how can I help others with my skills, and that's what what gets me excited about looking into Bitcoin or farmland or helping people with these. My skills is I'm a curious George, and I'll spend the time to research some of these esoteric asset classes.
Yeah, you definitely do. You definitely do your homework. Before we talk about cryptocurrencies, prior to your interest in Bitcoin and other cryptos, what was your interest in alternative assets? And when it comes to on your wealth management side, what kind of exposure did your clients have maybe to alternative asset classes?
Oh, okay. So when I started Servant Financial, it was, the CFO gig was in part for a family office of Samuel Zell called Equity Group Investments. And I worked for him as a controller of this NOL company, Net Operating Loss Tax Carry Forward. Well, anyway, when I finished my CFO role at that public insurance company, I went back to Sam and said, I'm a free agent. Do you have anything interesting? He had me do a consulting gig for 9 months for another NOL company. And then I kept saying, I want to start Servant Financial. I want to start Servant Financial. He says, don't worry about it. We got something when you're done, finish the work. And then he gave me his private equity and hedge fund portfolio to manage. At its peak, it was $400 million.
Wow.
And that's how I learned about alternative investments. And he gave me enough leash that I could make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah.
And to investigate growth equity, venture capital, oil and gas specific or industry specific things. And I was trying to, for that family, a lot of the wealth was in public REITs, so I was trying to diversify. So non-real estate was my focus, international, other sectors like consumer, oil and gas. And I like to think I learned a lot and provided value to the family.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you did. And then now currently with your current clients, like prior to cryptocurrencies, did they have, what kind of exposure did they, on the same realm of venture capital, hedge funds, or other types of alts?
I didn't do a lot of it, but I did some for high net worth accredited investors. So Sam allowed me to offer stuff that I underwrote for him. He preferred it if he passed on it, that I could go to others. So I did a small business investment company,
Okay.
SBIC, which was successful for the investors that I brought in for that. And it was just a learning experience.
Yeah.
And a secondary fund that he passed on, that I brought to other clients. He thinks he was in the first secondary fund, but it was really, I had success with my own capital and some others, and he heard about how successful it was, and he rewrote the story a little bit that he was always in Fund 1 all the way. And that fund is in Fund 5 or 6 now.
Okay,
So.
awesome. So what then piqued your interest in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin? And when did it happen?
I thought it was all a scam, like a lot of people that just do had a surface level understanding. I worked with an individual that was helping me out at Servant Financial, and she was mining herself and very interested, and I didn't understand it based on her explanations, but she was so intent on building wealth that way that I took the time to research it, and I got I don't remember the gentleman's name, but it's called the Bitcoin Standard. And the Bitcoin Standard is 12 chapters, and 10 of the chapters are the history of money and how human beings accepted seashells as a monetary exchange, stones, and then we got a little bit more sophisticated. It was gold and precious metals and coins. And then the last 2 chapters were about Bitcoin and it's how it's limited supply, 21 million. And not only that is like a scarce asset, but it's a network. It's a computing network, and it's one of the largest computing networks on the globe. And there's value in that compute.
Yep.
How it's going to be realized in mining or solving other mathematical problems. So.
Interesting. I need to read that book. John and I have had lots of conversations about cryptocurrencies, and I'm still a skeptic, but he's helping me come around a little bit.
Well, it's like digital gold, right?
Yeah.
Gold is the scarcest metal.
Yeah.
I think the inflation rate on gold, meaning how much new gold is mined and produced, is like 2%. I think with the last halving with Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin had dropped to 2%, and the next halving will bring it down to 1%. And so you'll eventually get to near zero inflation or new coins being minted.
Gotcha.
And that forces, if governments continue to print money with abandon, then Bitcoin will be, it's an anti-dollar play, really,
Yeah. No, it definitely is.
for U.S. investors.
Yeah. So are you primarily, when it comes to cryptos, primarily investing or maybe advising your clients to invest in Bitcoin or other types of cryptos?
Bitcoin only.
Okay.
I don't have enough time to research the other ones, and it's Bitcoin's simpler because its functionality is limited supply, really, in a network that there's optionality and value out of. I started allocating to clients' portfolios in 2022, and I started small, 1 to 2%. And I figured I'm not going to get fired if someone loses 1%, right? If you model, and there's groups that model all these things, and even BlackRock has come out with a recommendation of 2% recently. If you model Bitcoin as part of portfolio, it makes a portfolio more efficient, the efficient frontier, because it goes down while other things are going up. It goes up while other things are going down. And your risk-adjusted return with Bitcoin in the portfolio goes up. Actually, the risk doesn't change. The return goes up based on my modeling.
Okay.
So I thought it was a no-brainer. And it's worked out for clients.
Yeah.
They're 1%. So what you have to do with all portfolio is have a rebalancing protocol. So you sell your winners and you buy your losers. And with Bitcoin's volatility, you're buying when it's lower and you're selling when it's high. And you just maintain that 1 or 2% allocation.
So you've maintained that 2% then?
Yes,
Okay.
I may make it let it run a little bit, because clients have gotten their money back, at least the ones that were with me in 2022.
Gotcha.
I've also dabbled a little bit into Bitcoin mining, and for my most risk-tolerant clients, I have another allocation to a miner. Hut 8 is a Bitcoin miner, and the reason I picked Hut 8 was because they were trading at a slight premium to the Bitcoin that they held on their balance sheet. So it was another option on them figuring out how to manage the volatility of their mining operation, because it's a volatile business, like all mining, like gold mining. But they've figured it out, and the strategy has now morphed for them. It's figure out what the compute, right, mining, or use that compute, that power, energy for AI or high performance computing, or sell the energy back to the grid and take that money as a payment. And they've since gone on to identify development opportunities with AI. There's a scarcity of power to generate the power to run these colossal systems. And they've got a 1 gigawatt of development opportunities, and people have figured out, like, they have the stuff locked up for AI or Bitcoin mining or whatever the compute's going to be used for. So that was one of my best researched ideas, and I had to stay convicted because it was twice as volatile as Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Sell, buy when it's down, sell when it's high.
How did you have these conversations with clients?
I'm lucky to have clients that are generally hands-off.
Okay.
If I don't reach out to clients, they don't reach out to me. They're happy with performance. They understand what I'm doing. Global diversification, low expense ratios, throw a little Bitcoin in there. Some clients that have seen Bitcoin move are like, gee, this is real. Everybody's going to start doing this someday, John.
Yeah. That's interesting. Any of the like Bitcoin, funds or anything like that, or is it pure exposure to the actual asset?
I'm using, so early last year, the SEC, after a number of years of dragging their feet, approved spot Bitcoin ETFs. The BlackRock ETF is IBIT, I think, symbol IBIT. It today is the most successful exchange traded fund ever launched in terms of assets under management raised. I didn't use that. I don't use that in my portfolio. I use Fidelity Bitcoin Trust, FBTC. Fidelity is my custodian. And unlike IBIT and others, they self-custody. They store the Bitcoin off-site, cold storage, and they're taking responsibility for securing that, like they secure electronic holdings of stocks and bonds.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, interesting. What do you think the future looks like for cryptos? Are we going to see it really become? I've been having some conversations here at the Land Investment Expo about people wanting it as a reserve, potentially currency. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. There's a lot of hype about the new administration, the Trump administration, adopting Bitcoin either as a stockpile, which is mean they'll keep whatever Bitcoin they've recovered illegal use of Bitcoin for transactions, or as a reserve currency. There's a recent white paper by the Bitcoin Policy Institute that they wrote and presented to Scott Bessent, who is Treasury Secretary nominee for Mr. Trump. And in it, they propose returning to a Brentwood 3.0, where gold and Bitcoin would be a reserve asset for the dollar. And they believe that will allow the U.S. dollar to maintain its reserve currency status, and it'll remain a competitive advantage, and will blow away any global competition.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. Okay. No, I think it's interesting. We don't ever get to sit down and have conversations like this.
Okay. Well,
I'm
happy to do it.
Maybe I don't know.
We don't have to wait until a year from now at the next Land Investment Expo.
Definitely. Well, John, I really appreciate your thoughts and your time. Where can people find you?
People can find me at the Land Investment Expo. Now, online, my website is servantfinancial.com. And then in LinkedIn, you can find me, and on Twitter.
Yeah, and you have some great educational materials on your Servant Financial site about digital assets.
Yeah, we just added some digital asset content. We're trying to use our expertise in that area, or experience, to attract new clients. So we'd be happy to talk with anybody interested in getting into digital with a 1 or 2% allocation to a fundamentally diversified portfolio.
Awesome.
So thank you, Ailey. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
I appreciate it.
All right.